I remember in middle school I had a teacher, and he shared a true story with me, absolutely true story. There was a guy who was going to do some yard work one day, and so he didn't have the tools that he needed. He needed a rake and some other things and a shovel, and so he went to the hardware store to get a rake and a shovel and all the tools he needed to do the yard work. And so he had a little truck, and so he put all his tools in the truck, and he started heading home. And as he was driving down the road to go home, just driving there, and all of a sudden, a cat just darted across the road. And he saw the cat, and he goes, oh my gosh, just slammed on the brakes. But then his car did one of those little do-tuk, do-tuk. He's like, oh. And if you've ever run over an animal, you know exactly what I'm talking about right there. And so he gets out of the car, and he's just like, oh my gosh, I hit the cat. So he looks over and he's trying to look and see where the cat is, and finally he sees a cat in the gutter on the side of the road, and he walks over and the cat's breathing really heavy, and he goes, oh my gosh, I not only hit the cat and hurt it, but it's still alive, it's not dead. What am I going to do? So he thinks about it and scratching his head, and he's going, what am I going to do with this cat? I hit it, I can't just leave it here. And so he goes, well, the best thing I can do is just put the cat out of its misery. So he goes back to the back of his truck, and he's just looking at all the tools that he's just bought, and he sees the shovel. He says, all right, I got to do it. So he gets the shovel out, and he takes it over to the cat, laying there, breathing really heavy, and he just gets that shovel, and I got to do it, and he just, boom, kills the cat. Scoops the cat up, puts it in his truck, takes it to the place where you dispose of dead animals. And then after that, quite an ordeal, he finally gets headed home so he could do the yard work in his front yard. Well, some time goes by, and as he's working on his yard, a police officer rolls up to the front yard. And he's going, what's going on here? So the cop gets out of his car and comes over to him, and he goes, can I help you, officer? And the officer says, well, yeah. I got a call from an elderly woman stating that you killed her cat. And he goes, well, hold on a second. This is what happened. I was driving home from the hardware store, and on the way home, I ran over a cat, and so I killed it and made sure I disposed of it correctly and things like that. And so it was an accident. I didn't mean to kill our cat, and I'm so sorry that happened. The officer goes, okay, well, do you mind if I check under your fender? The police officer looks under the guy's fender of his truck, and the cat that he killed was still up inside the fender. And so what happened is he stopped, and he saw a cat that was there, but it was the old lady's cat that he didn't hit. And he saw it breathing heavy in the gutter and assumed that was the cat that he hit. And so he killed her cat. And so this poor old lady was sitting on her porch in her rocking chair, sees a guy get out of his truck, kill her cat, and then take off. I mean, true story. What's my point? Sometimes as disciples, we kill our old life when we get into the waters of baptism. But sometimes that old life can kind of creep back up under our fenders again as disciples. I got to ask, what's going on in your life that's still hidden under your fenders?